it could look pretty nice together. And so we thought, you know what, I think we can take the ceiling out and just basically come back in and seal or shellac the underside of the floor joists and leave them as they are. And the more the ceiling they started to demo out, the more bonuses came into play, because they started taking out a lot of the suspended ceiling tile, or the stuck ceiling tile to the underside of what appeared then to be 1x4 furring strips that ran across the entire ceiling. And I would say, what you say, Trey, we've probably got a room of maybe this square footage, maybe more, and 1x4s every, 16 inch on center.
Yeah.
They carefully took them all down, and we're actually now utilizing those. We can utilize some of those for baseboards, the old 1x4s that were actually in the ceiling. We also found out then on the second floor, we took the old carpet tile and everything was up on the second floor. The old wood floor underneath actually looks really good. We're actually going to sand that back and leave that as the main hallway on the second floor. So some really interesting, cool things that we found out during the process. And you know, there's ways of saving money and different ways of looking at things. So those 1x4s, they carefully took them down, and we're going to use those baseboards, which is a bonus.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, my question would be, was all of the bidders given the information as far as the alternate bids package?
Yeah.
That you
It was
can
all
do
part of the
this,
standard
this,
bid package. And certain contractors, I guess, put in more thought into it perhaps.
Mhm.
Others that, you know, that maybe didn't, maybe busy and just thought, I'll just throw a number at it.
Well, I like the concept of what you're talking about with the ag building that they did there, particularly since for the seating in the courtroom, we purchased a fuse that will need that kind of work to them to make them usable. I think you know, that's utilizing the skills that we're gonna need to do what we're gonna do,
I also, there's one other point that Fred mentioned is that part of their company is a steel frame manufacturing company. So they have the ability as well, and we have basically whereas the cafeteria that's going to be the courtroom is essentially a steel frame structure that we're going to have. They have the ability of having that in-house, that they can actually do that. We don't have as much lead time. I'm just maybe talking out of turn here, Trey, but
Well, and we always look at it with options, as far as a lot of times, maybe we just do the erection. We have some fabricators that we're real comfortable with that fabricate to our standards, but we do in-house fabrication and erection. I think, you know, we do that with our millwork as well. We do installation and fabrication of millwork. And where I think that gives me a benefit is my guys, even if it's a case where we have to, for whatever reason, go to one of our subcontractors that we're comfortable with, my guys understand how that piece should come together as they're watching it. You know, it's not just taking their word at it. One thing I was gonna address, just as far as the criticality timing wise, on when you're looking at some of these proposals or VEs as value engineer ideas, you know, you talked about the clear story, things like that, we have to make that decision as we're moving forward, because it's not really, you know, we would go in and as we do the demo, we would demo that piece of roof out. Obviously, if we demo it out and we decide, no, we want to keep it, we can't put it back very cheaply. So there's some timing things, not to mention the fact that as the number comes down, when we're talking about that kind of savings, there's a substantial savings included within that just on the bond. You know, it's where you may save $20,000. I mean, it's 2%. So if you can save $400,000, you get to save a substantial percentage of dollars on just the bond cost.
Well, I was gonna say, I would assume that the timing on that would be that you would come to whatever group is representing and saying, okay, now's the time, we have to either commit to this or not, because otherwise, if we change later, it's gonna cost us money.
it could go right past this.
I mean, so that'll be a part of, I mean, we know what it looks like now,
Right.
but as we go forward, there are gonna be critical points
Yeah.
to where you're gonna sit down and say, okay, it's time to lay the groundwork, so to speak, for what we're gonna do in this next phase.
Correct, that's right. Yeah.
roughly, that clear roof, do you have a rough estimate of, if you just forget about it now, as to what it would cost
If you did it now rather than later?
Yeah, if
Or-
you just said now, if you
It's
said
probably
now.
what, it's probably a $60,000-$70,000 deal, I think, isn't it?
That's all it
It
is.
was about a hundred and, it was about
It was
$140,000.
100,000. 9,000 total.
I mean, that, yeah, and I think with Clear Stories, you know, obviously we do those very well and take our time with them, but you do have, there's maintenance costs,
Yeah.
deferred costs with them too, you know, keeping the windows clean at a minimum, but if you know, anytime you have a storefront application, you put it in, you got a warranty, but you have potential for leaks that have to be dealt with.
That's
and-
right. You had the element of whatever.
But it's, yeah, it's about
Well,
$140,000.
one thing you mentioned a while ago, the difference in Kaler and Sullivan was like about $100,000, but on the alternative bid, it's close to $800,000. So I think it's pretty, I don't know if there's a reason to go into executive session, anyone feels like they are.
I do.
Okay.
I make a motion, we go into executive session. Discuss this, one of.
Ken, on fine? Motion, Commissioner Miles, second. Commissioner Wiley, all in favor? And who you want to?
Court and Judge Jackson would like to stay, and Tom.
Okay.
Very good.
What about this? We'll bring in.
Drop,